So when it comes to picking a radar detector for your day-to-day life, for your cannonball or whatever else you might be doing that you want to get a radar detector for, there's a couple things you need to look for in it. You're looking for quietness, how well it filters out the false alerts. You want range, so that way you have the time to slow down. Or if it's an instant on encounter, you want good speed and reaction times. And that is what we're going to be looking at today with the Escort Redline 360C, the Valentine 1 Gen 2, the Uniden R8, and the Uniden R7. So there's a lot of things to go over from not just that day of testing, but like the past week or two. Because what I'm testing on is an Escort Redline 360C, which I mentioned, but it has a beta firmware for the one that is now released. I'm going to be putting cannonball footage in the background because it's somewhat related. Radar detectors are a core and essential part of building a cannonball car, and a good radar detector will get you a long way. But you have to know how to use it. So, the testing that I did the other weekend was for instant on, so reactivity speed, how fast it alerts when a radar signal is suddenly turned on. We did range testing over a somewhat tricky course, which we'll have a video of that in a minute. I'll go over the equipment I used, the angles I used, and we'll have some driving footage. I was driving, I had a friend in the car with me doing some video of range testing. So you'll see how far away the first alert is. And we'll have a chart to show that will give you all of the runs, the information, the averages. We did 3 runs per detector, unless there was a weird sort of occurrence that popped up. And then we would just do like 1 or 2 more sanity checks almost. Um, and then from there, we'll throw them in a chart. We'll show you the ranges, how they compare, what makes these differences, and then I've been daily driving with the 360C, the Valentine 1 Gen 2 as well. So I do have a lot to say because there's been a lot of interesting things and discoveries made through the past week or so. And I'm looking forward to sharing them. So here we have our testing station. We've got my portable battery giving power. We have a Custom Signals Golden Eagle 2 directional, a Decatur Genesis 1, and we also have a Custom Signals Talon. That shoots 35.5 Ka band. This shoots 35.5 Ka band. That shoots 24.125 K band. And that is what it sees. That is the what we will call the kill zone. That is where the speeds will get red. And as you can see, when this car goes by, that would be what the radar sees. That would be what the officer sees when he tries to clock your speed. So something you're going to notice while watching these videos is that the runs are numbered, like run 1, run 2. Uh, you can ignore that because we don't know how to count and we lost track of that multiple times through the day. The run we're going into now is the second longest pickup of the day at 4,196 feet. Only outdone by the Valentine 1 Gen 2, and it wasn't beaten by much. We were extremely impressed by this and was not expecting the distance that we got with this detector. That's better. That's what I would want to see. So after just getting home from a cannonball, I'm filming this like Sunday night and throwing it into the edit now as I speak. Redline 360C. This is before I show the charts and everything. All the just me thinking out loud. Last weekend was the U.S. Express. The New York to California, specifically San Francisco, followed the original 80s pattern. And the car that actually won it, Taylor Hall's Dodge Charger, had one of these. So this detector helped the team win the Cannonball event this year, the US Express. There's a lot to say for that. I personally have been using the Valentine 1 Gen 2 for the past 2 years of my life. But running this detector has been an interesting one. It is big. It is definitely a bulkier detector. So if you're in a smaller car, it might not. It will take up windshield space. But it's also completely stealth. It is radar detector, detector immune. So if you're in a place like Virginia, where it is illegal to own one of these, a radar detector, this can't be picked up by their equipment. You still have to be smart with it, of course. You can't just break and be obvious with it, but you have a better chance of making it through the state safer. Um, but yes, random thoughts as I'm throwing this together, sending it out. The Redline 360 helped win the Cannonball this year. It is a solid detector. It is very well built. It feels good in your hand, which it's not where it lives, but on the windshield, the mounting is solid. It is very good. I love the magnetic mounting. It makes it easy to attach, detach, whatever. And I'm impressed with it. As we'll see coming up here in a minute, let's actually roll to the charts. So here's the results. Here's what we looked at after running the Redline 360C, the R8, the R7, and the Valentine 1 Gen 2. At the end of the day, the Redline 360 came in a very close second, only 40 feet difference in the average. But if you look at the consistency of it all, they were all fairly close. You could see the R7 gets nudged out because it's a last gen detector, with the R8 and the Redline 360 doing better than it because of new technologies within those detectors. The Redline 360C also got the second longest detection of the day at 4196. The Valentine 1 Gen 2 pulling out an impressive 4396 as well. These were all done in the same car, posted on the same road, same day. So before I post the K-band results, there is a problem with it that I want to go over with. The radar that I'm using, the Detector Genesis, Escort, upon my findings, Escort was able to replicate my findings, which you'll see in a second. And why I'm giving this disclaimer is because there was a bug in the firmware where if you were running the Redline 360 with the K-band on, the MRCD on, it would just almost not detect this K-band radar gun, the Decatur specifically. There said there is a patch being worked on. It's a bug fix being pushed out. So once that's actually available and public, I'll be going back out to revalidate, re-verify, and all that good stuff just to make sure that it is correct and fixed. So here's the chart for the K-band, knowing that there is the bug. So here's the K-band results. Redline 360 unfortunately did not have the greatest of showings because of the bug. The Valentine 1 Gen 2 absolutely crushed it on this one. The R7 actually coming in an impressive second place, with the R8 falling behind. Same angles, same course, and all of that as the KA band. But the R8 just slacked. And I want to go back with the Redline to redo K-band once that bug is fixed, because it showed potential in that first run, but the other two, we even did a sanity check that's not on this list to see, validate what was going on, because 600-foot detections just simply are not enough. And it kept giving us tenth of a mile pickups, which is not enough. So once that bug is fixed, I cannot wait to go back out and test it. And I I want to see a better result out of that. I really want to see it perform better than that. Now we come to the part of the video where I would discuss instant on testing. However, this is also the part of the video where it was 95 degrees outside and my GoPro overheated, corrupting all of the video and causing my Sony Vegas to crash as soon as I import the files. In fact, it is so bad that my file manager decides to crash whenever I plug in the SD card for the GoPro. So, this weekend, I get to go back out and make a second video for instant on testing with the Valentine 1 Gen 2 and the Redline 360C because the R8 and the R7 were on loan and I do not own them in my possession anymore. So, with that being said, thank you, Mother Nature. I guess closing thoughts. So, closing thoughts. What do I think? I'm impressed with the new firmware. I need to go back out and do instant on testing, blasting my GoPro with air conditioning so it doesn't shut down. But from what I remember and what I saw happen in person, it was good. The improvements are there. The range was good. The range has always been good, but the range is more good. Gooder, if you will. The K-band performance was not great, but it's a bug. They now know about that bug. And hopefully they can fix that bug with MRCD and K-band. The I'm happy with it. It's a step in the right direction, but they can't stop there. They need to keep going. They need to push this update out and then give it a week or two for smarter than myself people to test it, get bug fixes, and push those bug fixes. And if they keep working with that, seeing those fixes and fixing it, I think the Redline has the potential to be the best detector on the market, just like the Redline O was when it came out.